to the city, baby. When you see us, so you know you really viewing greatness in the making. Double up on facts we stating. Podcasting, cruise control, city, state, the nation. So what you saying, what we saying, prime information. Facts, topics, stipulations, first down, played it. Presenting topics from Kanye to Tom Brady. Facts, keys to the city, we unlocking the statements.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Clovercrest Media presents Keys to the City. Thank you, Joseph Aguirre, for joining us talking New York baseball. New York Yankees.
You were going to say bacon. You were going to say bacon, bro.
They probably should start eating more bacon, too. Stop with the lifting.
Bacon is good for me.
Stop lifting weights, all these Yankee players, because ever since you've been doing it, you've just been going on the IL.
And to think a guy like Brett Gardner, who's 36 years old,
it's amazing,
can continue to play and play well and play at a high level. And you got a guy who's not half his age, but 10 years younger, having so many injuries.
Having so many injuries. It's fascinating. It is truly fascinating to see that the Yankees are dealing with it again. So the saying, lightning never strikes twice. Well, it just happened on the New York Yankees once again. Don't
hold your breath.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. I'm not worried. We're still winning the AL East, but I want a championship. Speaking of championships, and that may not come for a couple years now for the New York Giants, which is fine. But the direction of the New York Giants has gotten me excited since the hire of Joe Judge and his press conference, his first initial press conference. And, well, he's made some news this week for his clean slate comments. And I'm not just talking about, and why I love him, and how people should love them. And I know that the New York media is the complete opposite because, well, they're not used to this. And how I want to relate this to not just football, but in life in general. I love what he said. Because, look, Dave Gettleman, Joe Judge, Jason Garrett, that coaching staff, they know that Saquon Barkley is going to be the running back of the future. They know that. He's the face of the franchise. They know that Daniel Jones is going to be the quarterback. It's a fact. They're just saying it. But the New York media, being the media as it is, can't handle it. And how I want to relate this to life is everybody gets a clean slate. You start over. And Giant fans should be excited, and Giant players should be excited by that because, well, for the current players, like a Saquon, he's been there for 2 years. Hasn't won anything. They've been probably, other than the Cleveland Browns, one of the worst franchises in the league the past couple years. How can you not be excited for a clean slate? And the other thing that gets me excited about this is you have to earn your spot. And now people want to all freak out because, well, in today's society, we live in a spoiled society. We live in a me society. People want to expect they just are given things on a silver platter. No. How it was 40, 50 years ago, and the biggest difference from this to that is that people earned everything. Nowadays, you're just given stuff. And the reason why I appreciate what Joe Judge is saying and why Giant fans should be excited about it is because you have to earn it in life. You're not just given stuff. Oh, here you go. Yeah, we get that. That's the problem with today's world.
Yeah, but
I shouldn't say world. I should say today's.
When you go into a press conference and say everyone's spot is open for grabs, you have. Yeah, but here's the thing. He's Joe Judge. This is not This is not Bill Belichick. This is not Bill Parcells. This is not one of the elite coaches. Jim Harbaugh, John Harbaugh. Listen,
and that's the problem. That's the problem.
No, I know that. But they've earned the respect.
I know,
this
but
guy's resume.
I know that
doesn't speak volume.
I get that, but that's the problem because you have to have these coaches that come in. You have to have these coaches that come in, and they have to say this. That's what they have to say. Or you have coaches that say players. No, it's different. I'm not saying he's Bill Belichick. I'm not saying he's Bill Parcells. I'm not saying he's Nick Saban. But that's what we almost need.
But that's
what we need as a Giant franchise.
I'll give you a John Wooden quote. One of John Wooden's quote is, "I don't treat all my players the same, but I treat them all fairly."
Do you not think that he's
So there's
going?
a difference. So listen, the quarterback is going to be treated differently than the running back, and the running back's going to be treated different than the guard or the backup center or the kicker. That's the way it is. That's how reality is. Okay, that's how business is. That's how life is. One brother gets treated better than the other brother. Or the brother gets treated better than the sister. But he's trying to do.
I always get them.
You're the middle child.
I'm the best one. Middle child. No, I'm not screwed. The middle child's the best.
I don't think so.
It's a fact.
It's not a fact.
Read your articles.
It's not.
They're the most loved.
Okay. Because they feel bad for them. Because they're not the last and they're not the first, so they got to give them the most love.
The handsome one.
That's fine. With regards to this in the New York Giants, I understand where he's coming from. For people to overstate his quote and think, hey, listen, he's not showing Daniel Jones respect. Here's the other thing. What has Daniel Jones earned? Okay, yeah, he had a good season as a rookie, but his job isn't guaranteed. If the Giants want to go get, and there's been rumors of Tom Brady, or if they wanted to go get someone at that elite level, then so be it. Because maybe they don't feel he's earned it. Why should... No, and I know we're talking Giants, and I'm not taking away from the subject, but there was rumors that we watched this morning on Get Up, right? What do they talk about? They'll talk about the NFL draft, and we're going to be talking about that in a couple minutes with regards to the Giants and other teams. Who's the number 2 position? The Washington Redskins.
Oh, yeah.
Who did they draft in the first round last year?
Haskins.
A quarterback. Yeah. Right?
What did the Arizona Cardinals do a couple years ago?
They drafted Josh Rosen. And then
what did they do the next year?
Kyle or Murray. Okay? If they feel that Tua Tagovailoa is the quarterback for the future, and he's the better fit guy for their team and gives them the better upside, then they're going to draft him. Mm-hmm. And then the quarterbacks are going to play it out, and the better quarterbacks are going to win. And what you do? You're going to trade the other one, or you're going to hold on to him. The Washington Redskins have done this before. They drafted in the first round Robert Griffin III.
He did the same draft.
And in the third round, they drafted Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Guess what? Robert Griffin III was the superstar. Got faded out because of injuries. And what happened? Kirk Cousins been the quarterback. And then they franchised him and didn't think he was the future, and they got rid of him. But don't take away from what I'm saying. Every spot is going to be earned on the Giants team, except for maybe one, and that's the running back. The only guaranteed spot on this football team is Saquon Barkley, because I don't give a crap who comes in or who they select. And Saquon does nothing during training camp, and the other guy looks lightning like the next thing. It doesn't matter. I wouldn't take any other running back in the NFL over Saquon. Okay, you can tell
me. Maybe McCaffrey.
No, I'm still taking Saquon because he got drafted by the Giants.
Oh, I know. I love McCaffrey. I love Saquon. You can't go either. You gave
McCaffrey. I'm going to still take Saquon. Okay? And if I was a Carolina Panther fan, I would say the same thing about McCaffrey. And if I was a Dallas fan, I'd say the same thing. But if I was the Rams and you said, Saquon's going to go to the Rams. Sorry, girl, he kick rocks, and I'm going to put Saquon Barkley. That's how it's going to go. You want the best players at the best position. And you want every player to come in and say, okay, for the younger guys to the older guys, you want it earned. You want the veterans to come in and go, wow, my position is not guaranteed. And I'm going to have to, because you know what that does? That's going to get the best value, but also it's going to make those veteran players work the hardest. You want every player to earn their spot, because that's how you make a team.
And this is why I'm loving Joe Judge. I love everything he's been saying and speaking. Oh, thank you. I needed some.
You're welcome. Yeah.
So to get back, the reason why Joe Judge, I love what he's been saying, he's been spewing since becoming the new Giant head coach, is I love that the media, the New York media, doesn't know how to react to it, because they love having a guy like a Ben McAdoo. They love having a guy like Pat Shurmur, because those are guys that are going to come out, voice their displeasure, call out people, say names and stuff like that, and the media loves it. They love it. They gather all that information and they write that. You see it on the New York Post, the New York Times. You see it. They love it. They love information like that. When you get a guy like Joe Judge, a guy like Bill Belichick, a guy like Saban, if you want to, medias don't know how to react to him. They lose their minds. And you've already seen it. You're going to get the boring answer from Joe Judge. You're going to get the boring answer from Bill Belichick. It's just the way it is. You're going to get the boring answer from Greg Popovich. They're not going to come out and say everything that you want to hear, that you can post. No, it doesn't work like that. And this is what the Giants have been lacking and been missing since Coughlin, you can almost say, since Parcells. They haven't had this. They haven't. And that's why it gets me excited. And that's why I say his clean slate comments, I love it. It's a new beginning. It's a new day and age for New York Giant football. You have to come in from day one. Like you said, Ted, other than Saquon Barkley, every one of those 52 other players, or 70 plus players, because you have your draft picks, you have the free agents come in, work them out. But all those players are going to be given an opportunity to play for the New York Football Giants. If you are not good enough, you will not make the team. And people have to deal with that. And the problem in today's society, that no, when you have to work for something, you don't like to go that extra mile. People don't like to go the extra mile to be great. People just want to be given that present, that gift, that silver platter. Because it's easy. Joe Judge is not going to make it easy for these players. Well, Joe Judge is not going to make it.
Where did he learn from?
Joe Judge is not going to make it easy for the media. So for media fans, if you expect this to be like a Pat Shermer or a Ben McAdoo, a media's dream, it's not going to be that way. You're going to get
No, I don't think so. No, I
you're
don't,
going to get Bill.
I don't think you're going to get Bill Belichick. I disagree with you.
It's already happened.
No,
it's already.
No, I think you get.
Okay, I'm wrong.
Well, I'm not saying you're wrong. I say I disagree with you. I said, who are the two coaches that he's come under?
Saban and Belichick.
But Saban gives stuff. I think he's going to be himself. I don't think he's going to be a replica of Bill Belichick.
I'm not saying, but he's going to try. He's going to be that way.
He's not going to be his blah. I'm going to put it that way. I don't think he'll be his blah. I don't think Sherman knew how to handle the New York media.
I don't think McAdoo knew how to handle. Coaches know how to. People know how to handle the media. Players, coaches. People know how to handle media. So there are people that don't know how to handle.
50 days since Joe Judge had become the head coach of the New York Football Giants. I think the way he's handled the media so far has been perfect. I don't think nothing he said Tuesday in his press conference was disrespectful or rude, or was it insightful. Nope. All he was saying that all his players are going to come in with a clean slate, and that comes with Daniel Jones and Saquon. Now, in the back of his mind, and everyone knows that we know. Let's use a little common sense, everyone.
Yeah, I know, but in today's society, there's no common sense anymore. And people are like, "Oh my God, he said nobody. He didn't say Saquon."
But
give it a break.
Because here's the thing: if he says we're going to come out with a clean slate, and then he says Saquon's earned a spot, what does that do?
What does that say to the other 52 players? That we have to earn it, but Saquon's given the right.
It's a lack of respect,
and that's the problem. And that's the problem with today's society.
Well, here's the other thing: where did he coach the last few years? Came from the Patriots, and their mantra is everyone's the same. Listen, that's why they're dealing with the Tom Brady thing. Okay, but it's worked for them now.
20 years.
Now, does that mean everyone's going to be like that? No. Now we know, with all due respect to NFL players and coaches, that you try to do the best you can treating everyone the same, but that's not how the real world works, okay? The quarterback is always going to be more of a favorite than the lineman. And certain other players are going to be favorites. They're called, daddy's girl, coach's boy, suck-ups, whatever. But certain players are going to be coach's favorites. That's the way the real world works. Just like in business in real life, okay? So why does this person always get asked for this job and why not me? It's just because the boss or someone feels more comfortable with that person. That being said, I like everything is being done. What's more important to me is what do the Giants do in free agency and what do the Giants do in the NFL draft? And I don't care about him saying clean slate. Because guess what? Everyone's going to earn a position. We know Saquon, day one, week one, is going to be the running back behind the field. And more likely than not, unless Tom Brady comes in, Daniel Jones will be the starting quarterback in week one. Yeah. Because that doesn't mean Alex Tanney, if he goes in and lights up preseason, Daniel Jones has an awful preseason, that he's going to be starting quarterback. No, absolutely not. Let's be realistic. All it's saying, though, is everyone else on the team, other than probably the quarterback, running back, and maybe one or two other players, every other position is going to have to be earned. And that also means backup positions.
Yes.
And that's going to make sure that veteran players are going to work hard and think, oh, my God, I can just go in because I've had 13 years. I'm going to be the guy.
It's not going to work like that. That's why, for people that disagree with his comments,
I think that builds a better team.
Yes.
Personally.
I have no issue with it. I don't. I have no issue with what Joe Judge has been saying since his day since his debut as New York Giant football head coach. Speaking of the Giants are one of the most intriguing teams in this entire draft, and it's been great. And I love it. And the fact of, well, what are the Giants going to do? What are the Giants going to do in the sense of trade back? Are they going to trade? Are they going to trade up? Which I can't see how they would do that. But the realistic, are they going to stay put? Or are they going to trade? So one of the biggest questions as a Giant fan is straight up, do we trust Dave Gettleman with this pick? Because knowing that this could be his final draft as New York Giant general manager, he has to hit on this. He has to make the right decision for the New York Giants. And the reason why I said it last week, the reason the Giants are in this position is because they've been bad. I know they've drafted pieces that can be moving forward for the New York Giants, but they are a bad team because of bad drafting in the past, and now it's starting to show. And that's why they're in the top 10.
But that wasn't all his fault.
I know that, but that's why they're in the top 10 now. He inherited a mess.
Do you have trust? I'm going to interrupt. Do you have trust in him?
I'm 50-50 on him.
I do.
Because I'm leaning I'm leaning in the sense of I want to trust Dave Gettleman because I know that this is a big opportunity for the New York Giants to trade back, but they could take a great player, whether that's an offensive lineman or the kid Isaiah Simmons or Jeffrey Okudah or Chase Young or Derek Brown. You're going to get a great pick no matter what you do. But then there's the other side of me that, well, what are we going to do with this pick? Are we going to just stay there and draft a guy that maybe you could have got back if you traded back or something? Or do you take... I'm just 50-50 right now on him.
So to your point, what you just said right there is no such thing as maybe, because I like what Gettleman said the other day. Business is open, and we're open for business, meaning if the right deal is there, the Giants should trade back.
No.
But here's the thing. Say the trade's back to 8, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what they have on their board, their big board, the guys that are left, right? So take away the first 4 picks, the next 2 or 3 guys that they really want, right?
Yeah.
What if he's not there at 8 now? And here's the thing: you traded back. Now what? You're gonna have to trade back up. And I
don't see the Giants.
It is tricky, and you don't want to trade back too far. All I would say to this is, I do have faith in him in this perspective. The last 2 first-round draft picks that he has chosen, I'm very pleased with. I am very pleased with the Saquon pick. And I'm very pleased with the DeAndre Jones.
Don't forget about Dexter.
No, I'm not worried about that. I'm picking. I know. No, I'm worried about the first pick, and it's Daniel Jones and Saquon. The other picks are bonus picks that we've earned from other things. But the actual Giant pick that was his was Daniel Jones, and I think, and I truly believe, watching him for 12 games, that he will be and is the Giants franchise quarterback for the next 10 years. And Saquon Barkley is and will be the franchise running back.
And that's another...
Everything else now we will see. Because like you said, Trev, in your previous statement, now we need to fine-tune some other positions. So if it is the defensive player or if it is the offensive tackle, he can't miss on the tackle, or he can't miss on the defensive player, because both of those guys could be the centerpieces for either the offensive line of the next 10 years and be your Daniel Jones' most protective piece, because we know what that value is of having a sure left tackle. Just look at the division. Peters, Trent Williams, and Tyron Smith in our division. Okay? Or could it be that defensive player in Isaiah Simmons or Chase Young and be that Lawrence Taylor for us in the next 10 years?
And that's why I'm trying to say is he says one thing, and that's where I say, do we have full trust in him? Because he says one thing, but he doesn't. He does another thing. And that's why I said he's been a defense, running the football. Defense wins championships, offense wins games, highlights, and stuff like that. I get that. But what are you going to do then? It's on you. Like I said, I've said enough times, this could be your last draft. You have to hit on this draft. Now, you're in a golden opportunity. And one of the crazy parts, he's never traded down. He said he's open for business. Okay? Well, history says that he, in his 8th draft, will be his 8th draft. In the previous 7, he has never traded down. He selected 44 players, not one trade down.
He's also never taken an offensive tackle in the first round.
So that can all change too this year. But like I said, time will tell. And I wanted to stick with the Giants, but I also wanted to talk with another team that's right in front of them. And these are two of the most intriguing picks of this whole draft. And Ted, I was thinking yesterday, I think there's one obvious pick in this entire draft, and it's the number one pick.
Absolutely.
And that's Joe Burrow. What we thought going to Cincinnati. There's some people that saying Joe Burrow doesn't want to go there. I think this is the most obvious pick of the entire draft. After that, we don't know what the Washington Redskins are going to do.
Yeah, but isn't that usual, though? Don't we?
No. Because when you have a guy like...
Did you not know Kyler Murray was the number one pick going to be for...
Did you know who was going to be number two?
Last year?
No. Last year was different. Last year was different in the sense because were they going to take Bosa or were they going to take Kyler Murray? Those are the two players that were only going to go number one. This year is different because Joe Burrow, Ohio, Cincinnati's number one. That's all we've been hearing. After that, what do the Washington Redskins do? Because are they keeping Haskins? Are they going to draft Tua? Are they going to draft Chase Young? Then you get Detroit. Are they going to trade back? Are they going to stay at 3? Then you get the Giants. After number 1, you don't know what's going to happen in this draft. And there's 3 teams that... well, it just so happens are the number 2, 3, and 4 picks in this draft. The Giants. What do they do at 4? They have a golden opportunity to stay put at 4.
Except they're the only one with the franchise quarterback.
And stay put and draft a hell of a talent at number 4. And no matter what it's going to be, it will be an impact player that's going to help this team no matter what it is. Whether it's offensive line, defensive tackle, corner, or pass rush, or in Isaiah Simmons' case, a defensive player. Because he doesn't have a
defensive
playmaker because he doesn't have a specific position. Or do they trade back, get the assets that they lost with the Leonard Williams trade, and help out and still get a great player? Detroit Lions are in the same position. Even the Washington Redskins. We all thought, they're going to Chase Young, foregone conclusion. As Lee Corso once said, not so fast, my friend. That could be. And it all comes down to the trust. Do they trust Dwayne Haskins? Do the Detroit Lions go forward with Matthew Stafford, or do they realistically take their future franchise quarterback? The Giants, like you said, Ted, the Giants already have their question marks. They have their question marks, but they have Daniel Jones. Now, whether he's a question mark still, time will tell. But he is the franchise quarterback right now, currently slated.
If I may, so I'm going to steal a quote that I heard this morning on one of the radio shows. It was from Mel Kiper. He said, when you're comparing quarterback so if the Redskins take Tua, and there's a possibility, or if they take Chase Young. Now, a lot of people say guarantee Chase Young. Bang. He's the best. First of all, he's the number 1 guy in the player board. He's the best player in college football. He's the most explosive guy. How did it work out for the 49ers? Because what he said was defensive pass rushers and all those guys, right? They got you to the Super Bowl. But who won the Super Bowl, everyone? The Kansas City Chiefs. They had Patrick Mahomes. Now,
Patrick Mahomes is a different human being, too.
Why can't Tua be that different human being? That's what I'm saying. I got to give you both arguments.
Because of the injury history.
Here's the thing.
The injury history,
is Dwayne Haskins really the future of the quarterback for the Redskins? Do you know that, everyone?
It doesn't.
Are you guaranteeing me that Dwayne Haskins, the same guy who... couldn't understand the playbook, doesn't know the playbook,
don't forget about his selfie after still the game playing.
Wasn't the first guy in the training camp, wasn't the last groom on the field, the last guy in the field. Like, is he that guy? Is he going to put the work in? Or is he just going to try to be the guy that gets away with his talent? Or
given the pass, like I just said with Joe Judge. You got players that need to earn it, and then you got players that think they just deserve it because, Dwayne Haskins could be one of those players that think, I was a starting quarterback last year, so I should be given the job. It don't work like that for a guy that wasn't really good last year.
Plus, it's not Ron Rivera's guy. Maybe he's not enticed by him. So to say it's a foregone conclusion that Chase Young is going to go 2 is not a guarantee. Now, what could happen is maybe Miami comes up to all the way to 2, knowing that the Redskins are thinking about taking Tua. So they scramble, they come up. Now the Redskins go back to 5. And then, then you see what happens in Detroit. Now, my thing, if that happens, if Miami comes up or whoever comes up at 2, they're taking the quarterback. Okay, they're not coming up to take a defensive player. So that means quarterbacks go 1 and 2. Number 3, Detroit sitting there. Now, we've heard rumors about Tua too. Now, people say, well, why would you do that? You still have Stafford. He's an older quarterback. What I would do is
the word you just said.
Now, if I'm Detroit, I got to think long term. I got to think vision. But Patricia's probably thinking, I probably don't have another year if I have a really bad season.
Patricia's going after. If he has another bad year, he's gone. But
what does the owner do? See, if you're Detroit, you got to think about long term. Maybe you go like this. Hey, I draft Tua. I sit him for a year. I let him fully recover. Okay? You let Stafford play out the season. He'll still play at a high level. We'll go look at his numbers. He still performs at a super high level.
Stafford,
next year, you trade him. When I looked up the trade value, Mark, he's at least minimum 1 to 2 picks next year. And I'm talking about
you got a Stafford, he's a first-round pick.
Value
without question.
So you trade him next year. You get another first-round next year, plus your first-round next year. You let Tua come back the following year with 2 first-round picks, and now you build behind your quarterback of the future. Mm-hmm. But I can understand taking a quarterback if you trade Darius Slay.
But I also want...
And now if you do that, now if they take Okudah, or maybe they'll take Chase Young, now the Giants are sitting pretty at 4, where they could do a whole bunch of things.
And that's where I also... And I want to bring in the Giants and Redskins part is it all smoke and mirrors? And specifically with the Washington Redskins, because the Giants, I know what Joe Judge said, and is he thinking about maybe getting another quarterback, Brady? You've heard, which is ridiculous, but that's a different story. Is it smoke and mirrors with the Washington Redskins? And I'm specifically talking about the Washington Redskins in this case of, are they really going to pass up on Chase Young? Or is it just smoke and mirrors and, like you said, Ted, getting the Dolphins nervous or getting the Chargers nervous or even the Panthers or the Raiders or teams the Colts, the Bucs, just a handful of teams in the top 15 that need quarterbacks? Is it just smoke and mirrors and, oh my God, what are we going to do? They're going to really take Tua. Miami, specifically Miami, you see that's like the one team that's been associated with Tua since last year. That's been the name. Miami, Tua, tank for Tua. They had a hashtag, for goodness sake, tank for Tua. Is it all smoke and mirrors? And you get these teams, and that's why I say, are the Giants and the Washington Redskins playing their cards right? Or playing their hands right.
Well, you're going to see a lot of
saying all the right things and saying, they really don't want Dwayne Haskins. Oh my God, they might actually pass up on Chase Young and take Tua. And so a team like the Miami Dolphins or a team like I just said, what do we do? Do we call them now or do we wait? Or are they like bluffing? Like, what are they going to do?
Well, but this is the draft.
I know. Ted, you say it all the time, but it's different because you have 3 quarters.
You saw the movie with Kevin Costner.
I love it.
All right, great movie.
I love it.
The draft movie.
Yeah.
Remember, there was a lot of smoke and mirrors. Remember, he was telling them, remember what he
quarterback.
They wanted the quarterback when he really wanted to take the linebacker.
Take the pass rusher, and he took
the linebacker.
He took the pass rusher from, if anybody remembers the movie, from Ohio State. But that's what I'm saying. But that's why they're playing their cards right. Rivera, and I can't believe I'm saying this, Dan Snyder, because of the sense of, you see all this stuff on the news, and these teams are watching NFL. The Washington Redskins, they might be moving on. They might really want to take a hard look at Tua and maybe really select him at number 2. So a team like Miami that has been desperately needing a quarterback since Dan Marino and wants Tua, man, what are you willing to give up? And I've said this a million times. How much are you willing to go get your prize, your trophy? And Tua is their prize that they've been wanting for quite some time.
Miami has 3 first-round picks.
So what are you doing? So a team like Washington or a team like the Giants or even the Lions, teams that are maybe playing their cards right. Oh my God, Detroit, Stafford, they got Stafford. They don't have to worry. They need defensive players. Oh well, maybe we take Tua. So what does a team in the sense of the Dolphins and the Chargers and the Panthers? What do they do now? They're the ones that are sitting back like, we might not actually get the guy that we were thinking that's going to be there at that position.
And that's what makes the draft so great, because all these
it makes it greater this year because there are 3 great quarterbacks too. And I know that everybody wants a kind of Justin Herbert, still 50-50 on him. Justin Herbert's going to go in the top 10, maybe in the top 5. Jordan Love, you might get 4 quarterbacks in the top 10 this draft, which is great. And anytime quarterbacks and big name quarterbacks are on there and free agency as well, you know what it does to the league. It makes everybody go nuts.
I bet you there's at least 5 quarterbacks go in the first round.
Yeah, it's a strong possibility.
And I bet you, and then the other deep class in this is the wide receivers.
Oh,
the wide receivers are stacked. Okay,
yeah.
Because the same 3, if they were playing quarterbacks, they'd be all top picks. I mean, they are literally that good. Jared Judy, Henry Ruggs from Alabama, and CeeDee Lamb from Oklahoma. All 3 guys.
Higgins, who would be in another draft class, probably be a number 2 or number 1 rated receiver. He's all the way at 4. He's probably 4 or 5,
depending on
Justin Jefferson's another name,
and Latavius Shenault from
oh my god, yeah, Colorado, the kid from Arizona State as well. You have legit maybe 6 or 7 receivers going in the first round.
This might be the deepest class of any of the positions going forward in the draft and the receivers, because there's guys. We saw a guy from Notre Dame last night who had a big night in a combine sense.
Yeah.
There's guys that you're not aware of that you're going to be able to pick up in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th round. I mean, Justice Jefferson, they had going to the Giants. Daniel Jeremiah had him going 36 to the Giants. He falls to 36 to the Giants.
It's a steal.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It's a steal.
That's a beautiful thing.
But that's what I'm saying. You see these teams right now, like the only obvious pick is at number 1. And everybody says, oh, that's every year. It's not every year that the number 1 pick, bam, Cincinnati, Joe Burrow, lock it up. Then you go to Washington. What do the Washington Redskins do? What do the Detroit Lions do? What do the Giants do? All 3 teams could either stay put, trade back, or draft a quarterback, with the exception of the Giants, or draft a quarterback. 2 of those 3 teams draft a quarterback. And we know how everybody drools over quarterbacks. And the name franchise quarterbacks, hopeful franchise quarterbacks, they drool over them. And that's why this offseason could be one of the best in the recent history, because of the factor of look at all the quarterbacks on the market right now. And not just small market names, big. I mean, you got the biggest name in the NFL, a free agent. And a strong possibility he will not be playing in Foxborough next year. And that's Tom Brady. Oh, and another one who plays for the richest franchise in all of sports, the Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott. Is he a certainty to be the starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys? This offseason, this draft, it's one of the most, I can't wait. As a football fan, I just can't wait to see how the domino affects everything. And as Ted said, and Colin Cowherd post, the Brady effect, because everything starts with Tom Brady. Where Brady goes, if he goes back to New England, then okay. And if he leaves, that's where the chaos happens. And it makes it great because it has to involve the quarterbacks. And that's the quarterbacks drive the league. And the chaos will occur early on in the NFL draft with the number 2 pick, because the Washington Redskins are not certain on Dwayne Haskins. Washington Redskins take a pager out of Dallas Cowboys situation now, because of the factor that the reason why Dak Prescott's not signed, and guys like Jared Goff and Carson Wentz are signed, and I've said this, is because they are certain those are their franchise quarterbacks. The Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, but that's on the owner. The Dallas Cowboys, that's true, but the Dallas Cowboys have not been certain since day one, since last year. Dak Prescott is a franchise quarterback. So my question would be to anyone who's still listening, would you rather have an average quarterback with an elite pass rusher, or have the average pass rush with the elite quarterback? What is your preference? That's what I'm asking, because that's what you have to think about as a Washington Redskins fan. Do you want the elite quarterback, which a lot of people... Or even the Detroit Lions you could put in that category. I know. They got Stafford, so I'm not putting them in that category. But if they wanted to. Would you rather have the guy who's has the potential to be that elite quarterback, that guy, okay? The guy that you've been looking for. That a lot of teams would love to have, or do you want the pass rusher with the average quarterback that is just good enough, okay? Is he going to be between Andy Dalton and like Jimmy G? Or is he going to be closer to Drew Brees, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers? That type of guy. Is he going to be that level guy? You pick your poison. How good is Von Miller when he doesn't have Peyton Manning? Von Miller's still great. I know, but who's their quarterback? I know they haven't found a quarterback, and that's the case. But
I mean, the Chargers have Joey Bosa, right? And Melvin
That's
Ingram.
why the
and Phillip Rivers has been, mediocrity. And where is it got in the Chargers, right? So you had an elite pass rush, but you had a subpar quarterback. That's what, I mean, I'm trying to get examples to elite. Now, would you rather have Patrick Mahomes and lose? I didn't have any pass rushers.
You just said it. The Super Bowl.
They had the elite pass rusher.
They had the elite pass rusher, but Jimmy G didn't make the throws like Patrick Mahomes could make.
And who's more likely to get back to the Super Bowl? The team that has Patrick Mahomes or the quarterback that has Jimmy G? Or the team that has
both
Jimmy
teams
G?
could, but that's the case that you're making.
If you have to make a choice, either or, don't make it for both. If you had an either or, who would you rather? Would you rather be the Chiefs position with Patrick Mahomes and the weapons he has, or would you rather be the 49ers?
It all depends in the situation that you currently have. Like you just said with Detroit. Detroit has Stafford still, so they still have one of the great great quarterbacks in this league. But they need defense. So a situation like them, pass up on the quarterback, take the Chase Young, the Isaiah Simmons. Washington Redskins, well, you have some pass rushers. You just drafted Montez Sweat. You still got Ryan Kerrigan. You have Deron Payne. You have Jonathan Allen. You have players on that defense. Okay. I mean, you can add a Chase Young who could be maybe a Pro Bowler down the line if he becomes like what people expect him to be, a Hall of Famer. But you don't have your answer at the quarterback. So for all that we were saying that Chase Young, and back in December when the Giants and Redskins played for the Chase Young Bowl, and we all thought, Washington lost, so they're getting Chase Young, it's automatic. Well, those questions become up for debate now. That is Dwayne Haskins going to be your quarterback? Is Chase Young going to be the first round pick, number 2 pick? Or is Tua going to be or Justin Herbert? Straight, it's one of those two. That's why after Burrow in Cincinnati, utter chaos is going to unfold in the NFL draft.
Nothing wrong with that, bro.
And no, there's nothing wrong with that. And that's what I love about the NFL draft. And that's why I love when there are great quarterbacks as well. When there's great quarterbacks in the NFL draft, and hell, if you wanted to relate this quickly with Washington, you could relate to the Giants. You take the great running back, or you take the quarterback. And it was a debate and it's still a debate for God knows what reason. Do you take the pass rusher, the elite pass rusher, or do you take the quarterback?
Well, the only difference.
But that's what I'm trying to say. The Giants were in the
pass rusher can have more of an effect than the running back.
That is true. And the Giants were in. Oh, I know. Don't even get me started. That's why I'm not paying him what he wants. The Giants were in the same boat 2 years ago. They were the number 2 pick. They needed a quarterback. They needed a quarterback.
I got a better one for you.
Okay.
Just look at last year's draft.
Cardinals? Get the pass rusher.
Who was the number 1 guy on the board? Nick Bosa.
Quentin Williams to some too as well.
So Daniel Jeremiah and I listened to someone else. Both said if they had to rank the last 3 years of the Ohio State D-end guys, Chase Young, Nick Bosa, Joey Bosa, it would be Nick Bosa 1. He's the most complete one. He's got great flexibility. He's able.
And you can already say he's an All-Pro.
Number 2 is Chase Young. Number 3 is Joey Bosa.
And that's tough. That's tough to defer or defer.
They said Chase, his ability to bend around the corner is not as good as Nick's. But listen, we're picking.
It looks like he's more like.
We're picking and we're being fine tuned. Listen, when you're comparing elite guys like this, you have to pick at every little nitpick.
Oh yeah, you nitpick everything.
What did they do? They chose the quarterback in Kyler Murray over the pass rusher because they needed the pass rusher too.
But they needed a quarterback because they did not feel confident enough. Cliff Kingsbury came in, new system. We know what Cliff Kingsbury likes to run. They needed a quarterback that fit his system. Josh Rosen wasn't the answer. Look what happened. See ya. Now he's on Miami. Ron Rivera, new head coach. Dwayne Haskins, current quarterback. Maybe doesn't fit his system. Could be gone. And Chase Young could be there at the taken at number 3. It's just, that's why I'm saying, what do the Washington Redskins do? Everything starts at 2. There's usually 255 picks in the draft. The draft starts at number 2. Just to think of how great this draft is going to be and this offseason is going to be.
And unless there's a trade beforehand, then it'll start.
And just look at the past. Giants doing it. The Cardinals doing it. Could be having 3 straight years that you have the quarterback and an elite player debate. Who do you take? For Washington to be relevant, for Washington to be great, they need to find a quarterback. I don't think Dwayne Haskins is their answer because they were never confident with him last year. And that was the problem. Any quick combines?
Well, I didn't. First of all, I didn't realize it was on as late as last night.
It was on prime time. They hyped it up,
which is pretty cool.
So much that he knows he's a sports fan.
I was working on the house.
Oh, excuses! You could have put it on your phone.
So were you? You were watching. You didn't have.
But we don't get your connection's terrible in your house. By the way.
Well, I got no Wi-Fi yet.
You better get Wi-Fi. You need to get that Wi-Fi. But
so what I took away from the end of the combine, we read a bunch of stuff. Herbert did everything he needed to do.
The stars did everything they had to.
I mean, I guess that's the best way to say it. The guys that needed to solidify their position solidified it. The 3 big receivers, as I mentioned earlier, Henry Ruggs from Alabama, Jerry Jeudy, and CeeDee Lamb, all tested well.
Yep.
Ruggs was the fastest, ran a 4.27. I mean, we knew that
he was going to.
He was going to be the one closest to test that John Ross 4.22 speed. Jeudy looks great.
Can you imagine running a 4.2? Can
you imagine running a 4.4?
That was the fastest you ran?
4.72.
I ran a 5 flat in 8th grade.
People don't believe I ran a 4.7. So even if I ran a high 4.7, closer to 4.8, still that's almost half a second faster than me.
That is fast.
Which is really fast. But so with that being said, the 3 guys did really well. They were receivers.
Yep.
I was impressed. I told you last night, and I said it to you last night. The kid Montez, was it
Montez Sweat? Montez Sweat was last year.
Yeah, but the quarterback from Colorado, I believe, has the same name.
Oh, Steven Montez. Steven Montez.
Oh, Steven Montez.
Montez Sweat.
That's a great.
He played last year.
No, he looked great. He was strong, big quarterback from Colorado. Had a strong arm. Looked really impressive. First time seeing Jordan Love.
Yeah,
throw the ball and
also and
he's been getting a lot of hype.
I think last night, like you said with the quarterbacks, I think it solidifies that you could see 4 quarterbacks going in the top 10.
Yes, absolutely,
without question, 4 quarterbacks going in the top 10, and maybe even 5 quarterbacks in the first round. I mean,
I was impressed for
big draft tonight.
What I saw last night. You know, Shea Patterson from Michigan. I never really thought of him as an NFL prospect. He didn't look that good.
For our purposes, this is a big combine tonight for us, for our team, because it's the offensive line and running back. The big offensive lines that Jedrick Willis, Becton, Tristan Wirfs, and Andrew Thomas are the 4 guys that have been associated with the Giants. So this is a big draft. We got to see how they all test out as well. But like I said, there's so much to talk about in the NFL right now.
Yeah, because Tuesday we'll be back on.
We're going to talk Tuesday.
We'll recap the whole combine. The winners, the losers.
And we're going to also be doing our mock draft. 1.0 will be coming out next week.
It'll be before Friday's show.
So stay tuned with that as well. Also, what happens with Brady? What happens with Dak? Will Dak get a new contract by the time we have our next show? Who knows? But like I said, the NFL right now, there's no play on the field, but it's dominating the headlines. It just shows that for anybody that ever thought any sport would overtake the NFL, you are falsely mistaken, my friends. Ladies and gentlemen, we are signing off. Thank you, Joseph Aguirre, for joining us, talking some New York Yankee baseball. If you didn't get a chance to check out our show, we are streaming on YouTube, Spotify, as well as Facebook and Instagram, Twitter as well. Keys to the City. Check us out, follow us, and love the Keys brothers, because that's all we want to bring is love to you guys. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you Tuesday. Clovercrest Media presents Keys to the City. We are out.
To the city, baby. When you see us, so you know you really viewing greatness in the making. Double up on facts we stating. Podcasting, cruise control, city, state, the nation. So what you saying, what we saying, prime information. Facts, keys to the city, we're unlocking the statements.
Streaming every Friday.